I was recovering from surgery and could barely stand when my husband said he'd handle everything. I thought he meant the house. Instead, I found out he was handling my best friend in our bedroom. When I asked him why, he said, I needed a release. You were just useless. I said nothing. 3 months later, he was served custody papers, a restraining order, and a bill for the caregiver I secretly hired to record every day he left me alone. I don't know if I'm here to vent or to warn. Maybe both. I'm not good with flowery words or dramatic posts, but this happened to me and I can't keep it in anymore. Maybe someone else is where I was and needs to see it spelled out like this. Last year, I had surgery. Not some quick outpatient thing. This was major abdominal surgery. I had complications after the procedure. The pain was brutal. I couldn't get out of bed without help, couldn't shower by myself, couldn't even sit on the toilet without gripping the sink. I needed Greg. I needed my husband. And at first, he was great. He brought me home from the hospital, helped me get into bed, kissed my forehead like they do in movies. He said, "Don't worry. I'll handle everything." I remember crying when he said that because I felt so weak and he sounded so sure. We had been married 10 years. One daughter, Lily, who was 5 then, and a house in Prescott, Arizona. Quiet neighborhood. Small yard. 2 cars. Pretty normal life. Greg worked in HVAC. Long hours in the summer, but good money. I worked part-time at the library. We weren't rich, but we were okay. We laughed a lot. We had hard years, but we got through them. At least I thought we did. I was on strong painkillers for the first few weeks home. I slept a lot. I don't remember much except waking up, drinking water, taking meds, dozing off again. I was out of it. That part is important. When Greg said, "I'll handle everything," I thought he meant bills, groceries, helping me to the bathroom. Instead, he meant I could lie there like a ghost while he screwed my best friend across the hall. Let me explain about Tara. Tara and I were close for 14 years. She was my maid of honor. I was there when her dad died. She was there when I miscarried our first baby. We shared everything, clothes, recipes, dumb memes at midnight. She was like my sister. She was at our house all the time, and not just since the surgery. Our kids had playdates. Our husbands got along. It felt safe. So when Greg told me she offered to help out, I thought it made sense. She brought soup, ran the vacuum. Sometimes she stayed to help get Lily to bed. Greg said it was nice to have someone take the pressure off while he worked long days. I thanked her. I thanked him. I felt lucky. I was an idiot. I started noticing small things first. Tara's perfume lingering longer than usual. A bra I didn't recognize in the laundry, red lace, definitely not mine. I chalked it up to her changing at our place to go out or something. The pain meds made it hard to keep track of time or notice things properly. I trusted both of them. Then one day, I woke up from a nap. It was dead silent in the house. Lily was at my mom's. Greg said he had the day off but had stuff to do in the garage. Tara had texted earlier saying she'd stop by later to check on me. I heard a noise. Not talking. Not music. Moaning. I froze. I thought maybe it was porn from the TV, but it was too real. And it was coming from my bedroom. Our bedroom. Across the hall from the guest room I had been sleeping in since I got home. I tried to get up, but I couldn't stand straight. My stomach muscles were shot. I dragged myself using the wall, one hand pressed over my scar, the other gripping my cane. I was shaking. Not from pain, from something worse. The door was half shut. I pushed it open, and I saw them. Greg was behind her. Tara was bent over. My bed. My fucking bed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared. They didn't even notice me at first. It wasn't until I let my cane drop that they looked over. Tara gasped. Greg froze. His face changed in 1 second flat, from shock to annoyance. "You're supposed to be sleeping," he said. "That's it. That's what he said. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I can explain. Just, you're supposed to be sleeping. I didn't say a word. I turned, walked back to the guest room, and shut the door. Then I locked it and cried so hard my stitches pulled and bled. Later that night, Greg tried to talk to me. Said it wasn't what it looked like, that he felt lonely, that Tara was just trying to make him feel better. I asked him one question. Why? He looked me dead in the eyes and said, I needed a release. You were just useless. That was the moment something inside me broke. Not like a glass shattering, more like a rope snapping in my chest. I nodded. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. But in my head, I started planning. And I didn't stop. I didn't confront him again. Not then. I played the part. Weak wife. Silent. Tired. Recovering. I let him think he won. That night, I messaged my cousin Ashley in Tucson. She's not a lawyer, but she works for one. A divorce lawyer. I didn't give details. Just said I needed help and asked her to keep it quiet. Ashley came through. Within 2 days, she had a list of what I needed to start documenting: finances, texts, anything that could help prove neglect or abuse. She also gave me an idea that changed everything. She said, if you can't physically take care of yourself, get a caregiver. Not just for help, for proof. I didn't have money for full-time care. Greg controlled the accounts. But I did have access to a little savings account my dad opened for me when I was a teenager. About $3,000. Hidden. Untouched. He said it was for when you really need it. I guess this was it. I hired a part-time caregiver named Celia through a local agency. She came in the mornings and evenings, helped me wash, get dressed, eat. Greg didn't care. He thought it gave him more free time. What he didn't know was that Celia wore a body cam. I told her everything. She was in her 50s, had seen a lot of bad marriages, and didn't blink when I said I needed proof of neglect. She said, you just tell me when the camera's rolling. So I did. Celia recorded everything. Greg coming in, throwing a frozen dinner at me and leaving. Greg walking past me while I begged for water. Greg disappearing for whole nights while Tara's car sat in the driveway. He got lazy. He stopped pretending. 3 weeks after I found them, he told me he'd moved on emotionally and I needed to accept it. A month after that, he stopped talking to me altogether. Just came and went. Didn't help with Lily. Barely looked at her. Barely fed her. He didn't know Celia was logging every missed meal, every time Lily said, "Where's Daddy?" He didn't know I was counting every second he wasn't home. By the time I could walk without help, I had 3 months of footage, records, logs, and screenshots. Everything backed up twice. I met with Ashley's boss. He nearly choked when he saw the footage. Said, "This is gold." Then we filed. Emergency custody. Restraining order. Divorce. Greg got served while picking Lily up from preschool. The look on his face when he showed up at my door with the paperwork in his hands was something I'll never forget. "You serious?" he asked, like he couldn't believe I had the guts. I said nothing. I just handed him another envelope. A bill. For Celia. With a note that said, "Since I was so useless, here's what useful looks like. Pay up." He turned red. Started yelling. Said I was crazy. Said I set him up. I didn't even blink. He started calling Tara. She stopped answering. Apparently, Tara didn't like being named in the court filings. Didn't like being outed to her own husband. Didn't like the screenshots I'd sent of their texts. Guess she didn't realize I had those too. Greg was left alone. No Tara. No custody. No home. A week after Greg was served, I got a call from Tara's husband, Mark. We'd never been close. He was quiet. Worked long hours as an electrician. Always looked tired. I used to think he just wasn't very social. Now I know the truth. He had been tired of Tara's lies for years. "I know everything," he said flatly. "I got the screenshots. I want to meet." We met at a diner halfway between our neighborhoods. He looked like hell. Eyes bloodshot. Fingers trembling around his coffee cup. She said it was just a one-time thing, he said. Until I saw her name in the court docs. That's when I knew it wasn't. She begged me not to leave. Said she made a mistake. Said Greg was just there, and I wasn't. Like that's an excuse. I didn't say much. Just let him talk. Then he dropped the bomb. She's pregnant. I stared at him. Greg's. I asked. He shrugged. She says it's mine. But I got a vasectomy 3 years ago. Never told her. She cried when she found out. Told me she was sure she hadn't cheated until now. But we both know that's a lie. He looked at me, and I swear there was something like relief in his eyes. Thank you, he said. If you hadn't sent those screenshots, I might still be playing dumb. I'd still be raising Greg's kid thinking it was mine. That same week, Tara moved out of their house and into a motel. She tried texting me. We were both hurting. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. I miss our friendship. I didn't reply. I forwarded the text to my lawyer. Every little piece helped. Greg, meanwhile, was spiraling. He missed visitation pickups. He didn't pay for Lily's school lunches, even though the court told him to. When he did show up, he tried to bring Tara, which violated the temporary custody agreement. I called the cops once when he tried to take Lily without approval. They showed up, saw the paperwork, and told him to leave. He cursed me out in front of the officers. She's turning my own daughter against me. The officer looked at him and said, Sir, maybe you should have thought about that before you cheated on your wife while she was recovering from surgery. That went into the report too. And just when I thought it was almost over, I found something else. Greg had drained Lily's college fund. It wasn't much, about $8,000 from gifts, bonds from my parents, and small deposits I'd made over the years. But it was in a joint account under both our names. He used it to buy a motorcycle. A motorcycle. While I was fighting for full custody, while I was paying medical bills, while I was scraping together money for legal fees, he bought a shiny black Harley with custom chrome. When I confronted him, he just shrugged. I needed something for me, he said. You took everything else. I took that straight to the judge. Next hearing, his visitation was suspended. He was ordered to pay every cent back into Lily's account. Plus interest. Plus penalties. That wasn't even the best part. A week later, his new bike was repossessed. Turns out he'd financed it in Tara's name, without telling her, and stopped making payments after she left him. She reported him for fraud. He got arrested. It wasn't for long, just a night in jail. But it made the papers. Small-town scandal. Local HVAC guy caught screwing around, now facing fraud charges. I clipped the article. Highlighted the words, financial misconduct. Then I framed it. Hung it in my new home office. Because I wasn't just fighting for revenge anymore. I was rebuilding. And I wasn't done. It took 6 more months to finalize everything. By then, Greg had stopped pretending to be a father. He missed every scheduled supervised visit. Never called. Never sent birthday cards. His court-assigned counselor said he showed no emotional investment. That went on record too. The judge awarded me full legal and physical custody of Lily. No more visitations. No more shared decisions. Just me and my daughter. Greg showed up for the final hearing looking like hell. Unshaven, reeking of cigarettes, wearing a wrinkled polo and jeans. His lawyer looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. When the judge read the ruling, Greg didn't even look surprised. Just sat there, blank. Afterwards, as I was walking out of the courtroom with Lily's hand in mine, he followed us into the hallway. You win, he said, voice low. You happy now? I turned and looked him straight in the eyes. No. I'm free. There's a difference. He laughed once. Ugly and bitter. You think you're some hero? You were a sad, boring wife. You couldn't even take care of yourself. I stepped closer. My voice stayed calm. You're right. I couldn't take care of myself. But I learned. You? You can't even take care of your own child. He tried to say something, but I didn't wait. I walked away. For good. I never saw him in person again. But I heard things. He tried to move to Phoenix. Couldn't hold a job. Tara filed for a paternity test. The baby wasn't his. She left town. Nobody knows where. Greg stopped showing up to court-mandated financial hearings. A warrant was issued. He fled the state. Last I heard, he was living in a rundown trailer park outside Las Vegas. His license to work in HVAC was suspended for unpaid child support. As for me, I went back to school, got certified to work in medical billing, found a job with good insurance. Lily and I moved into a smaller house, cozy, safe, ours. I don't talk to Tara. I don't talk to Greg. I don't waste energy hating them either. But every time I look at Lily laughing in our little backyard, or see her backpack with a college fund tracker sewn into the tag, I remember how he called me useless. And I smile. Because I turned his insult into evidence, turned my pain into power, and made damn sure he never got the chance to call another woman useless again.